Hi, hello, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. Today we are going to make this tiny tabletop Christmas tree. This is crocheted. This has got a centralised Christmas tree and then a whole stack of little fluffy bits on the outside. What's special about this particular tiny Christmas tree is that it glows in the dark. I will insert it glowing here. Yes, elephant in the room. Expect to see more of this. Thumb, tendon, etc. Yes, welcome to a summery Christmas. Now let's get started. What we're going to need is yarn, crochet hook. What I've been using is this is a DK weight yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. And then this is a DK weight chenille that glows in the dark from Bling Bling Yarns. I'll put the link down below. You can use my discount code. You do not have to use my discount code. But this means that this Christmas tree glows in the dark. So you can size this up and use any size yarn you like. Just size up your crochet hook at the same time. All right, you're going to need some scissors and you need a darning needle to get rid of your ends. But that's it. And then we've got a teeny tiny tabletop Christmas tree.
So we're just going to start off with 6 single crochet in a magic circle. And this is one of the ways that we start most things. The increasing that goes on from the 6 is a little bit different, but yeah, we're going to do 6 single crochet in a magic circle. I'm marveling at the fact that I've managed to get most of these stitches in frame, not necessarily centered in frame. I'm going to try and recenter, but there we go. So 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Once we've got the 6 single crochet in the magic circle, obviously we're going to close up the circle. I say obviously, but I'm currently writing a pattern where that doesn't happen, so you know. Right, okay, so we're going to close it. Now you can choose to mark your first stitch in the round. That's perfectly acceptable. I tend to. So now our round 2. What we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single crochet, which is going to take me a wee while here, and I'm probably going to put my stitch marker in, let's be completely honest. You'll see why it's not so important to put the stitch marker in by the time we get to the end of row 3, but we're going to put 1 single crochet in, put in a stitch marker marking stitch 1 because, you know, don't want to lose count. And after our 1 single crochet, we're going to put in an increase. So our increase is just 2 single crochet into the same stitch. I will try desperately to keep this in frame, probably do quite badly. This is definitely going to start making things a little bit pointier on the top. You'll find that, you know, when you're normally doing the row 2 and you're making a flat circle or you're making a sphere and you end up doing single crochet twice in each stitch. So you do an increase in each stitch and everything lays quite flat. This is going to be quite pointy. So that middle section is going to feel like it's tight, but just let that top part just pop up and you'll find it much, much easier. Alright, so here we are, we finished. We should have now 9 stitches on our... 9 stitches, I'm still in knitting terms. 9 stitches in our row. Then what we're going to do is just in the back loops only. And this is why I say that you don't need to put your stitch marker in at the start of the row, because you're going to be able to see it after this point. So we're just going to do 9 single crochet, but all of them are just in the back loops. So we're going to mark our stitch there because, you know, again, not going to lose count. But there are no crochet police that are watching you, so you can do whatever it is that you so desire. Right, so there we go. We're single crocheting into those back loops only. This is going to give us a ridge that we're going to be able to crochet the fluffy bits of our Christmas tree into later. Oh, I can see my roasters having a fight. Oh, it's that kind of morning. Roosters, honestly. Sometimes farm life is fun, and sometimes farm life is, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, we hatched baby chickens in the last 24 hours, so there are baby chickens everywhere. Yep. Right, row 4. What we're going to do in this one is that it's very similar from row 2 in that we're going to be increasing, and we're increasing to the same degree. There's going to be 3 increases over the whole row. We're going to do 2 single crochet, and these are in the whole stitch. So there's our first single crochet, putting in our little stitch marker. These are really annoying stitch markers, but they're cute because they've got little hearts on them. So it's kind of like, oh, look how cute it is, but then, ugh, look how annoying it is to actually try and clip in place. Anyway, there's our second single crochet, and now we're going to do an increase in this next stitch. And there's our increase. Notice how I carefully kept that out of frame the entire time because you wouldn't possibly want to see the increase happening in real time. So 2 single crochet followed by an increase, and then 2 single crochet followed by an increase. This will give us 12 stitches on this round. Then you'll see when you look at it that the row above this one has got a ridge all the way around, and you can clearly see the ridge. So if you're feeling ballsy, you don't need to use your stitch marker because you can just go by the ridge line, if that makes sense. Right, okay, we're at the end of our row. We have done our stitches all the way around. We've got 12 stitches now. Now we're ready for our back loop only row. This is no increases whatsoever, just 12 stitches in the back loop only. Now this is going to continue until you've got your tree to the right height. Now my way of doing this is to just keep doing this increase where you're increasing an extra single crochet in each of those odd rows before your increase. The full pattern is going to be in the description down below so that you can follow along. But you're going to do this until there are 30 stitches in your round. I mean, you can keep going. You can go until you've got like 143 stitches in your entire round. It's not going to be 143. It's always going to be a multiple of 2. So I don't know why I'm making up numbers on the fly. But you can keep going as long as you want to. You can make your tree as tall as you want to. This is going to scale quite nicely with plush yarn, but I really do prefer working with double knit, honestly. And at the moment, because I've still got this tendon injury in my thumb, if it's not an ergonomic hook, and it's not an easy to hold yarn, and it's not a small project, I just can't do it. Anyway, we're going to keep going and doing our increases in the same fashion. The full pattern is linked below, and you're going to see these ridges appearing all the way around. Now these ridges are not quite a perfect spiral because at the end of every row there is a gap, but we're going to ignore them. You'll see how we're going to ignore them when we start putting on our fluffy bits. You can fill in this base. This base, the instructions for the base are going to be in the description down below. But I'm not going to show you because it's a flat circle. We've all done 6 single crochet, increase all the way around. Now we've got 12. Then it's 1 single crochet, increase all the way around. And now we've got like the next number up. My brain's really not working. Anyway, this is what we're going to do in our ridge line. We're going to start at the very top one, and we're going to just put a slip stitch into that first stitch. That's just going to secure everything in place. We're going to darn in that end very shortly. Now the next thing we're going to do is make sure that we're not going to be doing a half double crochet using our yarn tail, because we've all done that before, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 half double crochets into that next loop. So that's going to give us quite a bit of fluff. You can choose to do 2 double crochets in there if you want, but 3 does make it really cute and puffy. It's really mind-numbing work, though, I will tell you that. It feels like you're going quite fast at the top because there's only like 9 stitches to work around. And then next thing you know, you're at 30 and it just goes on. So it's just a repetitive pattern all the way around. So you're doing 1 slip stitch followed by 3 half double crochet into the next stitch. I'm tempted to do this with double crochet in the second stitch rather than half double crochet. And if I do one of these in a plush yarn when my thumb gets better, I think what I'm going to do is the double crochet rather than the half double crochet, and that's really going to poof. So often half double crochet with the plush yarn is really quite solid, and I think this looks better when there's a little bit less solidity. I don't even know if that makes sense. In my head it makes sense, but in reality it probably really doesn't make sense. Right, so we're coming on up to the end of this row, and we're going to find that our little ridges are going to start disappearing. And there's some more half double crochet. When we get to that last back loop, or front loop actually, the last front loop that we can see, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of ignore the fact that it's not a spiral completely. We're just going to move our yarn tail out of the way so that we can see it. We're just going to skip from where we're at down into that next row and pick up the next one. This spiral of the leaves going all the way around sort of covers the fact that there's a seam line from doing the spiral crochet to create the cone in the first place. And it's just going to be quite cute. It's just going to be quite seamless. It's just a little bit of an extra stretch when you get to that last front loop, and then you're stretching down to the next front loop on the following row. But you'll find it becomes quite easy to find. But at this point, you're thinking, I have done so many half double crochets in my life. Why am I choosing to do more of them right now? Yeah, maybe I just want a bald Christmas tree. Maybe I don't want a Christmas tree at all. You know, there are plenty of people who survive in life without ever crocheting a Christmas tree. Here's one I made earlier. This is for a slightly different project, which you'll see.
So then when we've finished all of the half double crochet slip stitch combinations, which will make you want to lose the will to live because it takes forever because there's so many stitches to do it on, what you end up is this really cute little plump little Christmas tree. And now we're going to work on some Christmas tree decorations and darning our ends. Alright, so now that we've got our tree, what we're going to work on now is these Christmas lights. Now the Christmas lights are made really simply. Let's grab our green yarn here. What I'm using is, it's called Glow Yarn from Bling Bling Yarn. It's a thin chenille. They also have other ones that are milk cotton and wool and all the rest of it. But these are the ones with the colours that I wanted to use for this particular Christmas tree. And we're not going to be doing anything particularly challenging. What you want to do here is to create the smallest magic loop that you can, which, you know, life struggles, all the rest of it. Ugh, the stress. Is that even... I think that is. Now we're just going to pull that tight. Right, so we are going to do 3 single crochet into this magic loop. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And then we're just going to trim off a short tail and pull it through. Now, what I'm making here is... Now let's close up this loop, which, you know, it actually closes surprisingly well considering that it's a chenille yarn. What we now have is this teeny tiny half circle, all right, with 2 tails. We're going to make 5 in each colour. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our tree. This is before we've put the base on it. And we're going to poke our ends through the crochet. Now you've got a couple of options here. One, you can pull it through with your crochet hook, which is the most professional of the options, let's be completely frank. However, what I do is I just shove it through with my fingernail as best I can. And then I'm just pulling it through. Once it's pulled through on the other side, we can turn this inside out. You don't have to turn it inside out, like I haven't been up until this point. I'm just turning it inside out so that you can get a better view. We're just going to turn it inside out, and we'll see that what we've got is like a stitch or 2 caught between the 2 yarn tails. Now, anyone who hates sewing will love the fact that these yarn tails are just adding to our, and here's hello dog, our internal stuffing mechanism, for lack of a better description. And what we've got is we'll end up with these little Christmas lights tucked inside the leaves. Right, so I'm going to now make up 4 more green ones, and then I'm going to add the rest of my pink and orange ones into my Christmas tree, and then we'll take a look.